Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Unquiet Mind podcast. Today, I am joined yet again with two amazing women, one fellow MSer, Faith, and her wonderful daughter and support and amazing author now, Rebecca Aguis. Rebecca and Faith, welcome.
Hi. Hi.
Great to see you again.
Always.
So today we are diving into another topic that a lot of us, I think a lot of us talk about it, maybe amongst ourselves, but not in a general sense. Or maybe you don't talk about it. Maybe it's just something that you keep to yourself. I know I have. And that topic is fears, fear of, fear of. And with MS, I think that actual diagnosis for me, it brings such a high level of uncertainty and anxiety, I think, which goes in tandem with a fear. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does.
Yeah. So I'll let you all start and talk about it. Is there something that comes to your mind, just pops in your head when you first think of the word fear and MS?
I would say for me, it would be if I get to the point where I don't know who you are, if the lesions become so multiple that my cognitive abilities no longer exist. I can deal with anything you put in front of me, but if I forget and don't know who you are, I think that would be my one thing that would put me over the edge.
You can handle the physical, but not that emotional, mental loss.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. I have to sit with that. And I think I feel the same way because we grow up priding ourselves in like the amount of work we can do and the processing. We're told go to school, get a job, do X, Y, and Z. And we feel proud of ourselves because we can hold a conversation and have communication with others. So the loss of your cognitive abilities is terrifying. I think if I lost my limbs or access the ability to do things, that wouldn't be as bad as being able to.
You adapt to it.
I kind of feel like it's like a house fire, and they say like, okay, the house and all your things they're just stuff. But and I'm not trying to say that not losing your limbs or something like physical happening would be bad. Like, I'm not trying to say that wouldn't be bad.
Right.
But it's almost like those are the things in the house. Those are your material things. Whereas your mind, your memories, your ability to connect, that's the family that you didn't lose in the fire.
Right. Absolutely. That's such a good comparison or analogy. I love that. I can be honest with you. I was diagnosed when I was dead smack in the middle of my master's program.
Mhm.
And I'll never forget the instructor. She was a young instructor. She was walking around the room and I loved the class, but I started to feel so frustrated because I just didn't understand some of the material. I can't remember what the class was right now. If I really think about it, I can. But I really enjoyed her class. And then one day she walked by and she said, "What are the salient points," or something like that. And I kept thinking, salient? I don't even know what that word means. I blanked out, and for the rest of the class, I think I just sat there staring straight ahead because I couldn't understand a word she was. I mean, I understood because you understand English, but nothing processed for me. And that one word, I was stuck on salient. Like, I don't know what that means. I don't even know. So I lost all information. And you feel like you're, quote, dumb, you know what I mean? Or incapable of. And that affected me for a long time. And let me ask you, Faith, did you ever do a neuropsych test?
Oh yeah. Let me tell you about that.
Yeah, tell me about it.
So I've got the absolute best MS doctor anybody could ask for. I finally found one
Our
after
angel.
years and years and years. And if I had to give anybody a reference, it would be her, no matter where you lived. And so when things started to say, I don't know about this or I don't know about that, she said, well, let's just find out. So she sent me to this guy. And by the time he was done, he told Rebecca to prepare herself to start doing other things, like maybe she needs to be in a home, her cognitive ability, she doesn't have any, but she has Alzheimer's, she's dementia. Yeah. And
Finances, I need to take over the finances, you know, all kinds of things like that.
so
Right.
we went back to my doctor and she said, what? You don't have those issues. She goes, yes, your cognitive ability has slowed down and you don't remember things as quickly as you did
She don't
maybe
have
5
dementia.
years ago, but dementia, you don't have Alzheimer's. And for him to tell both of you that,
I think he said her IQ was like 50 or like 6, like it was 70. It was
Yeah.
very low. And
Yeah.
we're like,
and
no
she was
way.
dumbfounded, you know, and it's like, I had a 4.0, you know, I was at the top of my class. So yeah, granted, when you have Alzheimer's and dementia, things will change. But to say that, you know, it just took us for a couple days until we saw our MS doctor. We were preparing for, okay, what do we need to do? You know, does Becca have to start taking over my bank account? Do we have to start looking for a place? Do I need care brought in? And it was devastating, you know.
And this was pre-COVID. So when we were in our MS support groups, there were a couple other ladies who said the same thing, that they had gone and done these tests, and that these doctors were basically saying the same thing, that they were becoming so impaired that dementia and Alzheimer's were the next state, or that they were having psychotic episodes, that they needed to be on medication and see therapists.
Mhm.
Yeah, so it's like, I don't know what the criteria for these tests are specifically, but it's like, if you're not like in tune and really involved in your own care,
You're going to
process,
think that it's happening.
yeah, you're gonna think, oh my gosh, this is it, you know.
Right.
Let's put mom away, you know, it's time, you know, and it totally just put us, you know, like, wow.
Right. That's unbelievable.
Because, you know, many times I would say to Becca, if we're talking, what did I just say? Or Becca will go, you just said that. And I'll sit back for a minute and go, did I? You know, and you got that like,
The doubt.
did I really say that? Or did I really hear that? And so, yeah, they were starting to piece together. Okay, well, maybe, you know, this is the beginning of the end, you know.
Right.
So, yeah, I would tell anybody that were supposed to do these tests not to do them.
Yeah.
Not to do them unless you're absolutely sure of the doctor and that beyond a shadow of a doubt you need to do this. Don't go down that road.
Right. Right. Because the results come back so skewed, and unless you have somebody that can really read it accurately
Right.
and dissect it, it's kind of pointless. I agree.
Did you do one of them?
I did. And I felt like, you know, that TV show, Are You Smarter Than a Fifth Grader?
Yeah.
I felt like a third grader.
Yeah.
Yep. Didn't understand a lot of it. But I'm like, is this just because I was never taught that information, or is this because of MS? I don't know. But I know that I have some impairments. I'm not quick and sharp, you know, like I used to be.
Right.
But I'm still a fairly young woman, so you know, it's not like I can't learn it. You know what I mean? I don't know. Yeah.
But then
Yeah,
you
the
start
neuro.
questioning yourself.
Hmm?
But then you start questioning yourself.
You're still exactly. I do that to this day. I mean, I that is probably one of my, I don't know. Yeah, that is. My cognitive issues are probably the biggest weight right now, because I'm super functional. I can walk, I can run, well, I don't run, but I can, if I needed to, I could. It would be slow, but I could. but my cognition in processing and remembering and the emotion that my doctor told me, I'm the type of person that I want to know where my lesions are on my brain. I want to know what my MRI says.
Right.
Some patients don't want to know, but I want to know. And so when I like knew where the lesions were, I could then research, okay, what part of the brain
It's being
or
affected.
what part of the body, like what affects talking, emotion, walking, all of those things, chewing, swallowing. And so where I have lesions, I think I have more lesions on there, is the processing and the emotional. So I get into these emotional tailspins, and my
Mhm.
close friends and family can tell you it's really uncomfortable for me because I can't control it sometimes. And I'm already an emotional person, but I know that the impairment from the MS from that lesion has caused some sort of, I don't know, glitch.
Mhm.
Yeah. And I do, like you said, Becca, before, I do fear sometimes, like, how can I avoid this going to my child, and his children, and I don't know, down the line. I mean, he's only 11 right now, but still, you don't know if it's hereditary or what will happen. I mean, there's just so many. That one word encompasses a plethora of things, fear. I fear a lot, and I try not to. I'm trying to stay present and grateful, like
Mhm.
we talked about before, and focused on the day and not like, oh, the the anxieties.
I think stress triggers my fear even more. Like this week when the air conditioner went out, the stress level on me was 100. And it takes me a long time to de-stress. And Becca has to walk me through the whole process. Don't worry about it. It's going to be fine. We're going to get through this. Usually I'm that person to tell her that. But once I reach that level, I'm out of control,
Well,
and I can't get it back. It takes a long
what
time for me to de-stress.
what caused the stress for you, and then the
When the air went out and it's like, okay, it's going to be 100 degrees in here. We've already been thinking about moving. So it's like,
The
okay,
house is falling apart. She
I tailspin it,
yeah.
you know.
yeah, yeah,
So that's a big fear for me
yeah.
because, I always want things perfect. And
Mhm,
when they're not, then that stress kicks in and that fear kicks in and the fear becomes more and more. And then I'm out of control.
mhm. Absolutely. Yeah, I can relate to that in a way because it's the fear of the unknown and like what's going to happen.
Mhm.
Like I have all these things set and planned, like, we're going to thinking about moving, we're thinking about X, Y, and Z. And now what? Now we're going to, yes, I can completely understand. I attribute that definitely to MS. And I've said this so many times, like, just tell me, like, I need to know. It's not like I have to plan everything to a T, but I need to know what's happening. And so when there's like some sort of bump in that road, it's like total chaos. And it's hard to get back on the road of just that having that equilibrium.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. I know it's because of MS
Yeah.
because everything else is chaotic.
It took me a couple days to realize, okay, we got another air conditioner, portable one. We got a couple more coming in this weekend. And so it's not like it's the end of the world, but at that moment, it was,
It seems like the world's ending.
and
Yeah.
compile that with everything else. And, it's like, you know,
It's it's so great that you have Becca because you have somebody that can like talk you through those things. It's hard to self-soothe, as my therapist says. You need to find ways to self-soothe, but it's hard.
It's hard.
especially when you're at that level. When you're mild, okay, I'm going to read a book, I'm going to listen to music, so whatever it is you do, you can get through it. But when you're at 100 and now you got to figure out how to get back down to 10 and there's nobody there, it's impossible to do.
Right. Oh yeah. How did you handle it, Becca?
I mean, initially, yeah, like I didn't handle it great either because, like we were talking, we both have autoimmune issues. So it's not just her that's going to be affected by the heat. It's going to be me. Like I can't self-regulate either in the heat. And I work in a kitchen. So it's like I'm going to be in a hot house, going to a hot grill to come back to a hot house. And that's all like my brain was thinking about, like how hot am I going to be all day, every day?
Yeah.
But yeah, I knew like we'd get the portable air, we'd apply for grants, they're out there, I knew we would figure it out eventually. And usually, like she said, she's the one that's usually calms me down in the in crazy situations. But I could just see it. Like we both are the type of people that we wear our emotions on our face. You definitely can tell what type of mood we are just by looking at us. And just the look on her face, it was just like, okay, take a deep breath. Like we got out of the house, we went and got, coffee, went to the park, and we went to like a little farmer's market, trying to do things to take her mind off of it.
Right.
And I kept looking, like we got out of the car we were walking towards a farmer's market, and I looked at her and I go, give me a kiss. So I gave her a kiss. Take a breath. It's, we'll figure this out, like that's all you can do in the moment, otherwise you're going to make it worse.
I have to take a deep breath. I have been really stressed out, and just hearing like we have stress. You have stress. It's even though the situation is different, it's still a tremendous amount of stress. And I don't know how sometimes I don't know how to manage that. I don't know. It's just so
when you're in it, it's very overwhelming. You feel like you're drowning, like you're literally underwater drowning.
yes.
And I'm not saying everything is rainbows and sunshine and puppies and whatnot, but I have learned over the years, I think maybe because of COVID too, a little, to just stop, take a breath. And I know we had mentioned in one of the other videos, like today is today.
Yes.
So when we lost air, it was 100 degrees and we're thinking, oh crap, what are we going to do?
Right.
Today is now Saturday. It's a completely different day. We got the air conditioner. We're going to get a grant. We're going to get this. Yeah, that day was that day. Tomorrow is tomorrow.
Right.
So while you may feel like you're drowning in that moment, tomorrow you could be sitting on a yacht in the sun, sunbathing, drinking margarita. You know what I mean? Like
having Idris Elba going, hey.
Like I think it's important. You have to remember, and I know it's so much easier said than done, but it is just that moment. It is just that day. You have no idea what can happen tomorrow.
Yeah.
I think that's important to think about during the stress. Again, I know it's easier said than done, but I think that can help the drowning a little less.
For sure.
And if nothing else works, pick up the phone, pick up your computer, whatever it is, like today, and say, hi, what's going on? What can I do? Roll them a kiss to say, hey, I'm here for you.
Yeah.
Say something stupid, whatever it is, just to get them out of that funk.
Yeah, my aunt called her yesterday, checking in on her. How are you doing? Do you need to come over? Do you need anything?
Yeah.
Just something simple,
Yeah. And I sometimes resort back to when my son was in kindergarten or first grade, and he said he used to be afraid to go down the stairs by himself. And I would say, and this was back when my mobility was kind of impaired. And I said, can you just go downstairs and, get whatever I forgot, my purse or whatever. And he would say, I'm so scared to go down there. I'm like, oh, the lights are on. You'll be okay. And he was like, no, I can't do it. And the one day he came to the room and he said, he put his hands on his hips. I'm going to face my fears. And he stood at I watched him and he stood at the stairs. He said, I'm going to face my fear. And he ran down and he ran back up. And I said, that's such a good lesson. It was so cute, but it was such a good lesson for me, to remember, face your fears. Don't run from it. Don't have a emotional, mental meltdown. Face it. And this is, again, bringing up therapy because I'm doing the work right now and really it's working. But she says, like, don't just look at the top layer of whatever is bothering you. Look at underneath. Like, what is it that you fear? And that's facing it. Like, let's talk about money, for example. I don't know. I'll throw out you're afraid to spend $20. Well, why are you afraid to
That's
spend
me. That's me. I pay all my bills and then
Yeah.
it's like, okay. No, I'm not gonna put any on me, it's like,
Yeah.
I'm that money fear person.
Yep. And you have to understand like what's underneath the layer. And that's what my therapist is like kind of talking me through, like facing whatever it is that you're dealing with and recognizing that and acknowledging it and like greeting it, saying it's okay. It's okay to have this.
Right.
And then you can face it and deal with it and process. And I think that that helps with my cognition as well, because when I go in that tailspin, like if I were with you all, I would not have been able to process anything. I would have just been miserable. Like, I don't know what to do. It paralyzes me. Fear paralyzes me.
Yes,
And the
absolutely.
stress of it all does. And I just stop.
But for my fear, I have two kinds of fear. I have that fear that we just talked about, but then I have the fear, there's other fears that have nothing to do with that. So sometimes they overlap. Like this week, I just found out that I'm a stage 3 kidney failure. Yes, there's a fear there because now, am I going to be on dialysis in 6 months? Am I going to have to worry about a kidney? Things like that. So there's different fears that you go through, and each one you handle differently.
Right.
I don't worry about the fact that I'm in kidney failure because it's no different from me than having MS or cancer or anything else I've gone through. It's just another thing that my body's telling me we're going to do.
Right.
So it's a different kind of fear totally than the debilitating
You
fear.
don't think about the disease, you think about all the things that come with it, like
Yeah.
the dialysis, surgery, what's going to happen to me, what's going to happen, you think about all the other things, not the actual,
Right.
the thing,
Yeah. Yeah. That's a good point. Yeah. You think about all the other, yeah. Oh gosh. Again, it gets so heavy and debilitating, if you don't have proper strategies, I guess, or ways to cope. Um, I don't know. My therapist also said, just grab a pillow and scream into the pillow. For some people, that helps. I don't know if that ever worked for me. I don't know. I'm not a screamer.
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
I'm a crier in the shower.
I
like
cry.
I like a good cry in the shower.
Yeah. Yeah. It's more, I don't know, more of a release. I feel better. Like I can't hold it in.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
She does it in the shower, so I don't know she's crying.
that too.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh gosh. Wow. Well, thank you all so much for this conversation. And I'm looking forward to, carrying on conversations, because I think all of these topics that we've kind of like dove into, is that the right, see, there it goes. Is that the right, way to say it? They all kind of follow each other, or they kind of intertwine.
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
a layer of onions. We're peeling back each layer as we're going through.
Yes, for sure. And we may talk about something that we talked about in the other podcast that relates to one, and because they all pile on each other. So yeah. Well, I hope that you resolve the cooling issue, because the temperatures are, as we all know, kind of unbearable. So yeah. And don't be stressed. Well, I can't say don't be stressed, but just find ways to, I don't know. If you eat ice cream, maybe have some
yeah.
ice cream.
Oh, we've been
Ice
eating
cream
a
for
lot of
dinner.
ice cream.
Ice cream for dinner.
Yeah. Hey, that's
Yeah, the Jimmy Fallon's
I don't know what the name of it is. It's the Ben and Jerry's
Ben and Jerry.
one, Jimmy Fallon, the Tonight Show one.
it had peanut butter and chocolate and brownie and caramel and yum.
delicious. Yeah. I can't get over Haagen-Dazs dulce de leche. It's so good.
Oh,
That's a good
yeah.
one.
Even though I'm vegan, I will dive into that
Yes,
ice
I
cream
do
because
a lot
it's so
of
good.
non-dairy stuff too, but every once in a while, yeah.
Can't help it. Yeah. But yeah, I'm looking forward to our next conversation. So everybody tune in. And again, I say it all the time and I'll keep saying it. Please go and search for Faith on The Moth. And it's on YouTube. I posted it in the show notes in the other one. I'll post it on the next video and then the next video. And Becca's book, The ABCs and
And the XYZs.
XYZs. I'm sorry. Oh my gosh. Yes. Thank you. It's on Amazon, right? Kindle, Amazon.
Kindle, yeah.
Yes. So, yeah, I love talking with you all.
Always.
Yeah, you made my Saturday.
No.
Thank you. And fears, we're gonna, I don't know, come up with some more conversation about that, I think.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. All right. Thank you.
Thank you.